We want people to get to yes, and so we have to figure out what it is that gets them there.
No, we want premiums to come down so more Americans can afford coverage.
We're asking for $45 billion for more opioid treatment.
Let's see what happens. In Washington, anything's possible, and sometimes impossible.
And we'll see which one that is now. New Fox Polling 2 shows us where Obamacare stands right now. For the first time, it's over 50% at 52% favorable in our latest polling. Go back to March of 2015, it was down around 38. Also, we're finding in our Fox polling on the idea to replace Obamacare, only 27% favor. What's in the Senate right now? And hard to really know on that because the plan isn't even public and we haven't seen much of it. But that's beside the point. I want to bring in our panel right now. Guy Benson, political editor, townhall.com, and Molly Hemingway, senior editor of The Federalist, and Charles Lane, opinion writer, Washington Post, and syndicated columnist Charles Krauthammer. Good evening to all of you. Let's move quickly with what we have tonight and really where we've been. I will submit to you that Dr. Krauthammer here last night, sitting in that very chair, submitted the reason why this is so difficult to do. When you have an entitlement, it's very difficult to pull it back. And Molly, is that where we are?
I think what we really have seen with both the House and the Senate bills is that there is not much of a consensus for repealing Obamacare. So I think they should actually just admit that this is not a bill that will repeal Obamacare. It's a bill to fix Obamacare. And when you are viewing it that way, you do have much more flexibility to actually build a coalition to pass legislation. And the Senate bill actually does give quite a bit of room there. It has things that conservatives should be happy about, things that liberals should be happy about, so we'll have to see how it goes.
Well, we know where the president stands. He said this about it today, about Obamacare going down.
Obamacare is dying. It's essentially dead. If you don't give it the subsidy, it would die within 24 hours. It's been a headache for everybody. It's been a nightmare for many. And we are looking at a health care that would be a fantastic tribute to our country. Health care that will take care of people finally for the right reasons and also at the right cost.
So we know late tonight they're working on a plan by Friday. Are they getting closer?
Yeah, we'll see about that, the Friday deadline. I think that one of the issues here, if you're a senator, is will the president be saying exactly that about your plan if it were to pass? Because remember, he celebrated the House bill in the Rose Garden, said this is terrific, and then weeks later was calling it mean behind closed doors and then confirmed to Fox and Friends that he did call the bill that he celebrated mean. One of the best points that he's made over and over again, though, during this debate is an important one. Obamacare is failing. It doesn't matter what the favorability ratings are. I see in our polling 61% of Americans still want to see it fully or partially repealed. It is falling apart at the seams and getting worse and will continue to get worse. So even if there's a big outcry over the Senate bill and it doesn't go anywhere, hooray, we're stuck with a falling apart individual market. That doesn't change. What comes next?
Chuck, do Democrats believe they can do this, or are they still dubious tonight?
Democrats think the Republicans can do this? No. Democrats think the Republicans are engaged in something like a political suicide mission, which, as you said, involves hacking away, albeit mostly by limiting the rate of growth, an entitlement program that's become quite popular and that affects actually a lot of people who voted for Donald Trump. Democrats are hoping that Republicans are going to keep going in the same direction so that the Democrats can continue to portray them as harming the very people who in Kentucky and Arkansas and places like that who voted for Trump.
I asked you that because Tim Ryan's a congressman, Democrat from Ohio. He went to the floor of the House today, and he pretty much made himself known when he said the following.
We were trying to cover more people. You know what? We paid the political price for it, but sign me up. And the Democrats went into the minority since 2010, primarily because the Republican Party used this issue to bludgeon the Democrats. They demagogued the issue, repeal and replace, 7 years, no plan, nothing.
Some suggest that Nancy Pelosi should watch her back after speeches like that. Charles, where do you think we are 24 hours later?
Well, I think McConnell is trying to piece together the bare coalition he'll need. He's got some money to deal with. There's a request, I'm sure, from the moderates for opioid treatment. It's kind of ironic that you get a bill to pass by spending money on drugs. kind of like the idea. I still think it's a question of whether they're going to make it. But when you hear Tim Ryan saying that the Republicans demagogue this, the fact is Obamacare became extremely unpopular, cost them the House, destroyed their base in all those elections, because it was a terrible idea, and it's now all playing out. It is collapsing. But what the Republicans, particularly the president, does not seem to understand is that making the case that Obamacare is dead is not working. If you're going to promote a plan like this, which will change 1/6 of the economy, what's the case in favor of it? The Republicans are saying we made a promise. Well, that's not enough. Obama made 32 speeches for Obamacare, and we stopped counting here at Fox after number 32. National addresses of one kind or another in promoting the plan. We haven't heard one from Trump. You get the impression that he doesn't know what's in the bill. He says it's going to be a terrific bill, but he needs to go on television to make a case, an affirmative case. Otherwise, what you're getting is preemptive nostalgia for Obamacare, and that's why the numbers are up.
Conversely, what is the risk to Republicans if they don't act?
This is what I don't think Republicans are figuring out, that if they don't do something, that there will be electoral consequences, the type of which they haven't been able to see. It's not just Donald Trump who needs to be giving speeches. It's everybody who needs to be giving speeches. We need to be having a conversation where people debate various aspects of the bill, what our goals are, what we want to be doing, and this is something that our country is just not very good at right now, and what could be more important than this major piece of legislation?
What's your feeling on that?
You campaigned for 7 years on repeal and replace, and you saw the histrionics there from Tim Ryan on the House floor saying there's no plan. Well, there was a plan that passed the House, by the way, but I see his larger point. If you tell people we're going to get rid of this failing law, then you show up and can't get that done, and you have a bill that's polling at 27%, people start in your base to say, what am I voting for you for? What are we doing here? And independents who might be persuadable start wondering, is the Republican Party capable of governance?
Well, a big part of their problem is just the reconciliation rule. The fact that they're trying to do this on the basis of 50 votes plus one, which limits the things that they can move around. They can't do a whole lot of policy things that might have made this a little more effective and a little more popular. They have to do it through the blunt force of just cutting away all the taxes that finance the thing and cutting away all the Medicaid spending. And frankly, the Medicaid part of it was not in collapse. The individual market part is the part that's been in trouble. And it's therefore been very easy for critics of this plan to say it's just a big Medicaid cut paid for by tax cuts.
We could have a long